let's carry on
Yeah.
from what we talked about 2 episodes ago. For me, anyway, 2 episodes ago, and it was the whole, the Black Lives Matter movement. That's when it really got started, and people are doing protests. It was all over the news, all over social media. But let's just talk about where things have gone on from there, because we didn't want to be those people that say, "Oh, we're going to talk about it again," and not talk about it.
Yeah.
So, what has your view been on what's been done about things? Have you seen any changes, or have you read anything?
So I'm gonna get this up because I fact checked this correctly, but there was I saw a post. Here we go. Here's the post, right? So it's a thread of positive change that has happened because of the protest. Maybe you've seen this, Shomo, as well, right? But
I believe so, yeah.
So Brianna's law has been passed, which means that a no-knock warrant is not allowed. I think this is only in Louisville, but I may be wrong. But that just stops.
Yeah.
It means that police officers can't raid someone's house without knocking. They have to knock, which is something crazy that even had to be passed, but it's progress. The 3 men responsible for Ahmaud Arbery's, I think I said his surname correctly, have been the prosecution have been given the green light to press charges, so that's good.
Right.
The town of Ferguson, where Michael Brown was murdered, has elected its first black mayor, which is progress. So that's really positive to see.
Good.
A bill was introduced in Colorado that will address abusive law enforcement policies, so that's good. I think Minneapolis has said that it's going to completely from the ground up look at how they fund the police, so that's positive.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, that basically they stripped all of the police force and they're going to start from scratch again, essentially.
Yeah, I think they're going to start
even with the people involved and stuff.
And they're going to start from scratch in terms of what funding goes where and things like that. So, there's some other stuff around the use of body-worn video and stuff like that. But the last one, one of the other things this post talks about is that a statue of a racist man will be taken down in Virginia. So I think they're saying it's someone called Robert E. Lee. Now, I'm not going to say I'm informed and know who Robert Lee is. But the whole taking down of statue things is something that I guess we've seen here in the UK. We've seen it at home.
100%. I think I've seen the first one happen in Bristol, I believe.
Yeah. It was in Bristol. Now, the taking down of statues has always been really symbolic. Like the Saddam Hussein one is one that really sticks in my mind when they kind of pulled that down. Like that really indicated the kind of end of his reign. And I completely get and understand why during protests and things like that, statues of people who have had a checkered history in terms of racism are attacked. I get it. However, I think the energy of the protesters is being kind of slightly misplaced. So for me, the energy of the protests and the outcome we need from the protests is to change police brutality as well as change attitudes to racism both now in the present as well as for future generations. Trying to right the wrongs of the past, I don't disagree that shouldn't be done. I just think that is not the priority right now. The priority is fixing things today, so no more people die today, and making sure that things change for the better for everyone's children in the future. So I think like I don't disagree with it, but I think the energy is just slightly misplaced.
Yeah, like when I saw the statues, I was like the statues being taken down. Yeah, I was like, okay, I agree with this, and it seems to be like, obviously this whole situation has angered many people, and it's a way to like release their anger because it is on something that is symbolizing something really bad. For example, it could be like slavery or racism or segregation. But I believe that doing that if you're going to do that, then also do something that helps the present and the future. I think if you're just concentrating on destroying the past, then what's it gonna actually teach other people, or what's it gonna make other people think that you stand up for? Do you not?
Correct.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I completely get you. And I was actually having a conversation with my mum about this, and she was saying, well, instead of just taking down the statues and dumping them in the bottom of a lake or a river, or just getting rid of them, she goes, why don't we put them in like museums and kind of educational spaces, so we can learn about our past, and we can learn about the journey we've come on, not only for the current generation but for future generations, to understand kind of their history and past, and that they understand the what they have today and the struggles that people had to go through to enable them to do all of the things and live in the free world they do. Which I actually kind of agree with. I think it's not that we're giving those people a platform, like we're celebrating the fact they were racist. It's just about the whole education piece. For me, it all fits in that education bucket.
Yeah, because you kind of need to know who kind of paved the way. You got to pay respect to that as well, and also know about it. Know about what the past was like. Like everything that people have shared on social media and stuff, it's been to do with the past. Like, watch this, look how this was back in the day, look how it was back then. So I think that is really important. One thing that I'll say about like the museums and stuff is, are people going to go to those museums with intentions of learning before protesters or people against racism and stuff start attacking those places and burn them down? Because I've seen many things like, oh, we don't need memory of slavery, we don't need like this to be showcased in a way. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think it's also important as well, right, to know. It's also important 100%. To know, because so much change has happened in the past, and it's important to know. I think it's just important to know that journey. It's important to bring people along on your journey, and kind of, and just help bring more people along. I think the other thing that I would that I've kind of observed that I think maybe needs to change a bit in terms of how people are protesting and things like that, and that's here in the UK as well as in the US, is what's the purpose? What type of reform are you actually looking for, right? So I use the example of the suffragette movement, right? Their goal was very clear. We want equal, we want equal voting rights for women, right? That is very clear, and the outcome is very well understood, not only by the people protesting, so that everyone actually protests behind the same thing, but also for the people who can make the change, because they understand, if we do this, we will help these people in achieving what they're trying to do. I think in this case, people are kind of, the broad net of Black Lives Matter is super important, because it then encompasses all of the issues that negatively affect the black community. However, it's very difficult. It's like, well, what are you trying to focus on here? Are you trying to focus on the police brutality stuff? Are you trying to focus on how the police segregate black people? Are you trying to focus on the education of black youths and younger people? Are you trying to focus on black people as politicians, the number of them? It's like, which one of these things are you trying to achieve? And I think all of these things are things that we should be trying to achieve, but it's one at a time, right? It's one at a time. You can't solve all of this at one time, basically, is I think what I'm trying to say.
I think that it should be one at a time, and it should be very specific. That's how things get done. And if it does take, bear in mind, we've only it's been a few weeks and changes have already been made. If we be more specific in what we want to change, I think those changes, with the power of like the media, especially social media, people's attitude towards supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, I think change will happen fairly quick, but you still can't change people and their ways. You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks type of thing. So I think it's just about making racism really uncomfortable, you know. And, you know, we even seen, like, I think you quote tweeted when police were shouting the N-word at these, was it 2 or 3 black boys? And then police went to the black boys.
Yeah, that was mad. That video
was
mad.
It's like, hold on a second, like, police should be informed about this as well, you know, that derogatory terms are, you know, bad, and they should be stopped, and they should... Someone should say something about that instead of going to something completely opposite, you know?
Nothing's going to change overnight here, right, with this stuff. I think everyone 100%. Understands that and appreciates that. So it's about a slow... it's just about a slow progression of changing and being very clear on the outcome you're trying to achieve. I think that's kind of key. And that message, for me... feels like it's a little bit getting lost, and so hopefully it's the voice of people like us, and people on, you know, in social media and stuff, and the protest, which I'm sure will continue, just to be super clear on, you know, what outcome are we trying to achieve here. I think will help everyone, not only people protesting, but also the people that have the power to actually change things. Yeah,
man, and like we said, this Black Lives Matter thing isn't a trend. It's not just a thing that happens for a week, you know. The black people and the white people have to come together and solve problems together. It's not just a black problem. It's not just a white problem. It's a human problem, you know.